Dropping money. All right, guys, let's get right into the discussion here. Today, I'm gonna go over what is disposable income. Okay, you probably heard that term before, disposable income, and it's quite simple. Disposable income is the income that you basically have after taxes. Okay, it is the money that you have after taxes, and believe it or not, taxes is a huge part of your wealth being decreased by either your state or by the federal government, right? So we can have road improvements, we can have schools, policemen, fire departments, and other community sources. So I'm not saying that taxes are a bad thing. We just pay astronomical prices in taxes. So we have to figure out how to build, we have to figure out how to increase our disposable income. Now, the first thing I would say, and these are not necessarily in order because I have a great idea, or rather a great method that is probably the perfect one that anyone can actually do. Now, some of the ways I'm going to give you, they're not, feasible for everyone. First and foremost, how about getting a second job? A side hustle. I've spoke about that before. You can easily increase your disposable income. The money after taxes and the money after your expenses is your disposable income. And disposable doesn't mean like you dispose of it, right? You just use it up, you just blow it, you start balling and stuff. No, no, no. It's money that you can actually do other things with, like invest. Okay, you can invest in stocks and bonds and commodities to actually have your money to work for you, because if your money is not working for you, then you have lazy money, right? It's kind of like that guy that's sitting on the couch all day, maybe an uncle who don't do nothing, but he always asking you for money. That is how you're going to be if you don't have your money to work for you. The other way, which is kind of the same thing, is get a raise. Talk to your boss, look at the performance metrics of what you need to do to get a raise. Like, hey, I'm hungry. I want to do great at this organization, do great at this company. How do I get a raise? How do I get promoted? Now, granted, with raises, even getting a second job and also a promotion increases your taxes. So you may be doing more work for a small increase on those things. Secondly, starting a business. Now, this is a very good way if you start a legitimate business, because it's not a lot of times when I say side hustles, you can do side hustles through so many entities that you may not even pay taxes on. And I'm not saying that's what you should do, because the government wants to know when you're making money so they can make money off of you. And that's just kind of your I don't know. We supposed to pay taxes on the money that we make. That's how this country actually runs. It runs off of two things. It runs off of debt and it runs off of taxes. So either you're the one giving out the debt or you're the one taking the debt. Okay. So we must do those things to help our finances out. Again, start a business, because businesses has all sorts of tax loopholes. They has all sorts of tax deductions and tax credits. So businesses do not get taxed at the same rate as an employee or regular citizen. And a lot of people don't know this information. So you take a company like Amazon, right? They reported last year that Amazon didn't pay any taxes. But what people don't know, they didn't do the research, is that when Amazon first started off, they was losing so much money, right? They used the boomerang effect. They was losing so much money that when they started to, get generating their wealth, they were so much in debt that they didn't even have to pay taxes because they was losing so much money. Now they're highly profitable, but of course, with some tax loopholes, some tax gray areas, some tax credits, some tax deductions, they also use those things as well. But look into starting a business, because your business could be saving thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on how much you grow, in tax savings alone, because they have so many beneficial programs for businesses, especially small businesses. Investment income. So you've heard this before that people live off their dividends, and investment income is basically that. Now, I remember on Stash because I have this bond. There's about four bonds. You got Uncle Sam, you got Long Haul, you have some corporate bonds, but whatever. The best one that I've seen the best returns is Long Haul. So if you're a Stash investor or you're looking to invest, go to Stash and look at those Long Haul bonds because they have dividends. Because bonds, if you don't know what a bond is, it's basically a loan to a corporation or to the US government. Okay, so the Uncle Sam, all of those are US Treasury bonds where you're giving a loan to the US government. Now, the long haul ball, I think, is a mix, and I think it's mostly corporations, but they're paying the most. We're talking about bonds that are returning 10% this year. 10%. And if you know anything, the stock market for the last 50 years has been has been returning 10% over the last 50 years on average, right? Some years was more, some years were less, but the average of 50 years has been 10%. So that means if you're in the market, you can almost predict that you're going to be making 10%. Now, granted, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but we are due for some sort of recession or depression, which is going to make the market crash. Okay, we are due for this. So every 10 to 12 years that occurs. Now, do I want it to occur? No, I want us to keep growing. But when that does happen and the market does crash, it exponentially grows and break new records throughout the next 10 years. So you just have to project when you want to retire and things that you need to do to safeguard your money. So we talked about investment income. So also on Stash, and I'm not a spokesperson for Stash. I just made some really, really good money off of Stash. And also real estate. I told you that I invest with Fundrise, okay, which is a real estate investment trust, and I get dividends for that, but I reinvest those dividends so they compound. So these are the things that we actually have to look at in order to get that investment income, right? And the only way you're going to receive investment income and have that to build is throughout 10 years, throughout 20 years, you continually to invest into those entities that's going to help you to grow money. And here's the thing. If you don't have bonds, okay, if you don't have commodities and if you don't have index, which are the base of your investment portfolio, if you're just investing to individual stocks, you don't have if you don't have any bonds or index funds, you are doomed to fail. If you read Tony Robbins' Unshakable book, you will know exactly what I'm talking about because index funds over the course of time have been returning 10% as well. 10% as well. We're talking about for your intermediate investors and your novice, your beginner investors as well. Now, even the experts have, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars in investment ETFs, and they also have their riskier investments, but those things are grounded. Those things have known throughout the course of time to make them money. So they always need a nest egg of bonds and index funds. So don't be fooled that people are just doing really risky investment getting rich. No, 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 no. They are doing sound investment where they project to make money. And if they don't, they still have a network of cash. So moving right along. Number 4. And again, these are not in any order. I'm just numbering them so you know where I'm at inside this video. This is the most important one to me that I think that we all really need to really look at. And it's spend less. We need to spend less money. There's so many ways of spending less, like tightening your budget, will take some time and effort and sacrificing just a few of your luxuries, a few things that you actually like. But this will also increase your disposable income, and it really doesn't require any extra long hours because when you're talking about doing overtime, getting a raise, getting a promotion, starting a business, all these things take a lot of time, a lot of studying, a lot of your personal time. But if you just cut back, you make that budget, you follow my Ross World 4 tiers of money where you create a budget, decrease your debt, build your emergency fund, that's your savings, and also invest. Okay, also invest. And all that will help you raise your credit score. But we want to deal in building wealth because credit scores, we know, are just used for loans essentially. Now, they may help you to get a house or apartment, but essentially loans are your credit score is actually just used to get loans. But nonetheless, it is good to have a great credit score because you may need a business loan. You may want to buy a house that you don't have $300,000 to spend, and that's perfectly fine. Buying a home is one of the greatest things that you can do because you're building your wealth through your home. Okay, you're building your wealth through your home. And we'll get into real estate because real estate, as I was talking about investment income, if you go into the right real estate fund, you can have dividends come back from that when you're just a private investor investing money and you're getting dividends and you're putting that money right back into so that money compounds and it makes you more money. But spending less is the most easiest thing that you can do that does not require any time or any more money. Okay, so you don't have to go through the classifieds and build a business model or to subscribe to any financial magazines. You just need to cut back on the things that you need to cut back on. I'm not telling you to cut off your water, cut off your electricity. No, those are the essential things that you need to live. So don't cut off on those things. But if you know you're spending astronomical things because you absolutely got to go to Starbucks every day, or you absolutely got to go to the breakfast spot or the lunch spot every day, or you're going to happy hour afternoon, these are luxuries that, essentially you really can't afford. So that's really all I really want to talk to you guys about today, okay? Because this is very simple things to increase your disposable income. So let's go over it again, okay? Get a raise, get a second job, get a promotion, start a business. Also do investment income. That's your bonds I was talking about, or investment that has dividends, okay? I'm not telling you go with bonds, but you can do individual stocks that also have dividends as well. And then last but not least, which is the most important thing that you can do right now, is spend less money. So hopefully you understand all those things that will actually help you to increase your disposable income. It's the most important thing because, I love my little fake money here, right? It really is an eye opener that this could be your disposable income a month. And this money is fake, of course, right? I love showing this fake money because people on TV, they just show you, oh, I got all this money. I got all this money right here, and they show, and they probably got some better copies that don't have China writing all over it. But real money outside the bank, outside investment, does nothing for you. It does nothing for you. So I think the only real money I have here is about $40 and some money I have somewhere for gas money. But all my money is in investments, savings, decreasing my debt, and also so savings, investments, decreasing my debt, and that's pretty much it, right? Because I want to decrease my debt, get rid of my debt as much as I can, because it's taken away from my wealth. I want to save, so I have that 3 to 6 month of emergency in case anything happens. The optimal, right? The optimal is 6 months, and when you get to 6 months, you don't have to stop. If you have a good routine, you have a good rhythm. Hey, why not have a year? Because I know some people, they'll work their butt off, right? They'll work their butt off, and they will have 12 months. Yes, 12 months of all their bills, all their expenses, including their Starbucks daily, meaning that everything that they do, they saved up, and they will save up a year. You ever heard of people, oh, I'm going to go backpacking through Europe, or I'm going to go to Africa and I'm going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro? That's because they sacrifice for about 3 to 5 years, and they have a year's worth of all of their expenses, all their money saved up, and they just take a break. Like, you know what? I'm going to take a 4-month break. I'm going to take a 6-month break. Then they come back, either they have their job still, or they were already planning to leave their job and get another job. Yes. So you have to sacrifice now. You have to put in the effort now. You have to forego some luxuries now in order to be where you want to be. Okay. And last but not least, every bit of your money needs a goal. Every bit of your money needs a job. If you're allocating money to pay off debt, that is its job. If you're allocating money to put into your emergency fund, it is for your emergency fund. Don't just save to save. Make sure you're saving for something. Like me, I save for my vacations. I save for my emergency fund. I save for big purchases if I don't have that part of my disposable income. I put money into my investment. So all of my money that I only have one paycheck, okay? One paycheck that goes out in different streams to make me money, okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? So it really doesn't matter how much you make. If you cut back on a few things, that one income that you have, you can create different streams of income coming back into your bank account or reinvesting on itself to compound over the course of time. Now, I invest with certain entities like Vanguard, which is a $4 trillion, 3.5 or $4 trillion company. I invest with Stash. I used to invest with Acorns. The reason why I don't like Acorns, I'll just give you a little spill about it, is because transparency. Stash tells you what stocks are in their funds or what stocks they give you the percentages that it made since inception, all the way up to the 10-year mark, I believe. And it also, my money makes money. Hey, Lindell. It also gives you the performance. It gives you all the bits, all the nooks and crannies and all the information that you want to know about a stock so you can research it right on their site. When I go to Acorns, it is telling me that I'm investing in commodities, and big businesses, small caps, and all that. No. I want to know the companies that I am investing in. Now, granted, I haven't been on Acorns for a while. So for a disclaimer, if they updated their program, they updated their application, then I simply don't know. Okay. But when I was investing in them, they didn't tell you all that information. So I got it that. And then quite frankly, Stash stole their proprietary software. They didn't really steal it, but they have Stash Stash Roundup. I don't think they call it Roundup, but they have a form of Roundup, the same thing as Acorns. Okay. So I have Stash, Wealthfront, Vanguard, Fidelity, and somewhere else. But I don't have a lot of money, okay? I just got different investment streams because they all do things differently. And the one thing I like about Wealthfront is they have your tax harvesting. They hold money and wait so they can amortize the taxes to a certain point where you're not paying a lot of taxes, right? And again, I also have my company's equivalent to a 401k, which is very important. Even though if you read Anthony Robbins / Tony Robinson's Unshakable book, you will understand that 401ks have a lot of fees as well. But most people probably need to get a 401k or have a 401k. And since I'm talking about it, if you don't have a 401k and you're looking into a 401k, one of the best 401ks is America's Best 401k. Just Google that. America's Best 401k. No hidden fees, straight up prices. Start putting your money in that and you will start making, you'll be on your way to building your wealth. Okay. So last but not least, guys, I thank you for joining me this evening. I'm trying to do more live TV so we can interact. So whenever you guys catch me on, if you have any questions, you have any suggestions about videos, I try to get to those. I remember a subscriber of mine the other day talked about calculating your net worth. If you look at the one of my latest videos, I just put your net worth so you can get that information and go from there. So again, your disposable income is the money after all of your expenses and after all of your taxes. Now, depending on how much you make, taxes is either a third or a fourth of the money that you have coming into your bank account. The federal government, the state government, they don't you cheat on your taxes, because this is what they do. This is what they do. They wait until you're 50 and 60, where you're old, decrepit, fat, and nasty. Not everybody, maybe, not everybody. And they come and take your house. So be a good steward, pay your taxes or leave the country or pay your taxes. So that way that won't happen to you. But when you're making money in this day and age, they're taking a fourth or a third of all your taxes. So anyway, this is Ross World. My Money Makes Money. Financial Literacy 101. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I'm out, guys. You have a good night. Peace.